Hi everyone, I hope you are doing fine. Today we will study the themes in the Scarlet Letter. Let us examine them closely. The first theme is women and femininity. Actually, in the novel we can find feminine traits, such as passion and emotional struggle in Boston's Puritan society. That's why some critics agree that Hawthorne's narrative criticizes Puritan traditions, but it also pays attention to the unrecognized potential of women and femininity. The narration and characterization of his Prynne reveal a strong inclination toward sympathy and appreciation for women under the pressures of traditional patriarchy. In the novel, women might be the weaker gender, but the way Hawthorne sees it, they have plenty of power. And we can see this in the novel when Hester is presented as an independent entity throughout the text. She is not a mere extension of the man or woman in her life. And we can see this in the introduction of the novel, when she begins with her walk from the prison to the scaffold, and her baby in her arms, to stand in front of the entire town. Also, she doesn't reveal the identity of Pearl's father, and this shows that she and her son alike belong to none but herself. Without a man to take responsibility over her, the Puritans have no choice but to accept that she is capable of complete autonomy, even under the burden of her sentence and her trial. She proves this when she fights successfully to keep her daughter and her. Her sewing is also a symbol of her individualism. By becoming the town's seamstress, she also embodies herself as a vital member of the community. Her dream for a brighter future is not so much about the destruction of the Puritan system, but more about starting afresh with a new one on which femininity and emotion will not be repressed or looked down on. Yet Hester is never ashamed of her femininity and lives out the rest of her life set apart from the rest of society, but still influencing people with her gentle and confident ways. Content with her place between society and nature. Although Hawthorne's narrative carries veins of criticism, for Puritan morality, it becomes a deeper and grander argument when that Puritan morality is put in context with the potential strength in femininity. Even under the burden of history's sentence, or rather because of it, she sets an example as a woman who is able or who is enduring a repressive and judgmental world, but knowing a better one is eventually to come. Moreover, the feminine resilience is highly shown in the novel. The public shaming act of Hester and her resilience to go through the social isolation is another major embodiment of power in the novel. It seems that Hawthorne has unconsciously placed his weight on the feministic side. The projection of Hester as an epitome of an individual having suffered unjustly shows that the Scarlet Letter is not merely criticism, but also a condemnation of the moral code of that time. It shows that feminine resilience is not merely a myth, It is a fact as well. Mr. Perrin's long suffering shows that she has suffered more than an ordinary man could have in such circumstances. The second theme is sin and guilt. Actually, Hawthorne explores this theme through sister, Sinistal, and Chillingworth characters and actions. For example, we can't find sin and guilt in Hester's character because she commits the sin of adultery. And adultery was forbidden by the 17th commandment. The Puritans considered it punishable by the death of both parties. In severing Hester's life, Herodotus believed that they are acting with justice and mercy. They likely considered that she thought her husband was dead, and that her partner, who chose not to reveal his identity, should share part of the responsibility. Also, Hawthorne explores this theme through Dimmesdale's actions and character. On one level, Dimmesdale's sin of failing to admit that he is Bert's father causes him immense guilt. On another level, his shame is reinforced by the irony of his situation. Why? Because as he grows more tortured about his weakness and inability to admit the truth of his avowed sister, he becomes more respected and revered by the townspeople for his apparent holiness. His hypocrisy in accepting the townspeople's respect is sensible and adds to this guilt. Also, we can find sin and guilt in Chillingworth's actions, and maybe his sin is the greatest of all. As Dimmesdale tells Hester after she reveals the truth about Chillingworth's identity, he says, "We are not Hester, the worst sinners in the world. There is one more than even the polluted priest. That old man's revenge has been blacker than my sin. He has violated in cold blood the sanctity of a human heart. Though and I, Hester, never so. As you can see, he is justifying his sin." And in this quotation, Hawthorne suggests that Chillingworth's sin is the worst of all, because his actions were born of malice, and he felt no guilt for seeking revenge. Although Hester and Dimmesdale sinned as well, they felt tremendous guilt. Therefore, the theme of sin and guilt is closely related to the theme of the nature of evil. Another major theme of the novel is the criticism of Puritanism. Hester's crime is as huge as that of Dimmesdale. However, one is cast and sentenced while the other is free. Dimmesdale hides his secret due to his position and status. When Hester is released, it is stated by the unknown narrator that even the Puritan code of law would be dismayed to see this sort of justice. It is because the law is mixed with the papal commitments and the human judgments. Both are wrongly used. The contrast of nature and Puritan laws further sheds light on the type of society where Discrimination in case of punishment exists in letter and spirit, though not on the surface. This is a strong criticism of the Puritanism that an innocent child suffers only due to the supposed sins of her parents. That's why the novel presents a critical view of Puritanism. The Puritans appear as shallow hypocrites whose opinion of history and prayer improves only when they become more of an asset to the community. Most notably, when history becomes a seamstress and Pearl inherits a fortune from her father Tranquil. Now let us examine the symbols of the novel. The first symbol is the Scarlet Letter. The letter shows the world that Hester committed adultery, and so it is a mark of her sin and disgrace. In a larger sense, the Scarlet Letter represents Hester's identity, who she is to herself and to others, which shifts during the course of the book. The symbol is echoed in Pearl, the living embodiment of the aim. When she dressed in one scene to match the letter, the A that Pearl fashions with seaweed and puts on her chest, and finally the A on the gravestone that links Hester's grave and the mistles. The Puritans mean for the Scarlet Letter to be a symbol of Hester's shame, but the narrator describes the letter as a mystic symbol that means many things. The letter does represent Hester Prince's adultery, but as she grows and changes in the novel, the letter's symbolism evolves as well. For example, it comes to mean able when she becomes a successful seamstress. In the end, the letter comes to symbolize Hester's triumph over the very forces that meant to punish her. However, it is fascinating to note that the same letter becomes a symbol of innocence and penance, character of Hester, by the end of the story. The symbol also shows how objects transform their symbolic meanings based on lifestyle, circumstances, and choices. The second symbol of the novel is the scaffold, which symbolizes guilt, public confession, and punishment for a crime or a sin. It appears at three carefully balanced places in the book: at the beginning, the exact middle, and at the end. In chapter 2, the Puritans force Hester to stand on the scaffold and be humiliated by the community, and this is the first appearance of the scaffold. And you can see in this quotation how the narrator has described it. The second appearance comes in the middle of the book, exactly in chapter 12, in which the Misdal mounts the scaffold. In this vain show of expiation, he shrieks aloud, but despite his confession that someone will awaken and so his confession will finally be made, no one hears him, and his punishment remains private rather than public. This event, of course, comes at night, making the scaffold the symbols of sunlight and shadow all night. The third appearance of the scaffold is in chapter 23, when Dimmesdale, joined by Hester and Pearl, finally makes his public confession. His confession comes in the light of day and in front of the people of the whole town, finally releasing Dimmesdale's guilt just before he dies. Also, sunlight and shadow are two important symbols in the book as a whole. The shadow symbol is sometimes linked to night. Chapter 8, for instance, Dimmesdale stands in the shadow in the governor's garden when the question of Pearl's custody is discussed, as he conceals his sin. Hester stands in the sunlight, having revealed her sin to the public. Also, by taking Dimmesdale's hand, Pearl is symbolically recognizing that he is her father. Dimmesdale, however, is far from ready to admit that he was Hester's lover, and Pearl is their daughter. The sunlight shines on Hester and Dimmesdale in the forest when they agree to flee to England, as though the decision is blessed. Therefore, the light stands for God's grace and love, while the shadows represent secrecy, absence of love, and lack of truth. Thank you very much for listening, and I hope you are saved all the time. Thank you and have a good day.